So today we'll be going on to a new chapter, and the name of the new chapter. Oh wait, the name will come to know the name later. But anyways, for now, let us go to the introduction directly. Now, I just wanted to show you something that you already learned in your previous classes or class. I don't know, and that is this formula: speed is equal to distance by time. Uh, I do believe that. I think so that you have already learned this in your previous classes. Now, it's a very this formula. You probably would have studied it in physics. Speed is equal to distance by time. Now, what does this tell you? This tells you that suppose there's a road and there's a car, and if you know the distance and if you know the time, you get the speed. So distance by time, you get the speed. So this is what that formula tells you. Anyways, for now, I want you to imagine a graph. Okay, a straight line graph. So this is a distance time graph. Of course, this is just a graph unless I mark distance and time. For now, imagine this straight line graph, and I put the x and y coordinates, x and y, and I draw put the numberings. So this is the x coordinate is given in the here we get the x coordinates, and here we get the y coordinates. So, and imagine your car here. This is this line, this pink line. It shows you the way how your car goes or travels. Now, and this y axis, this y axis shows you the distance, and this x axis shows you the time. Okay, this x axis shows you the time. Now, I told you that if you know the distance and time, you can always find the speed. So suppose I drawing a line like this, to get this point, because this pink line is what shows the motion of the car. Motion means movement. This pink line is what shows the movement of the car. So see, if I'm drawing a line to this pink, from this pink line, I'm drawing a straight line and it reaches 4. So I'm having time for, by the way, all my time is in seconds and all my distance is in meters. Okay, for now, just for now. So my time is 4 seconds, and what is my distance at this point? What is my distance? I'll draw a straight line from that, and that is 3. So my distance is 3, and now I know. So my speed is distance by time, distance is 3 divided by 4, that is 0.75 meter per second. Now suppose, now you could find the speed when you knew what was the distance and what was the time, but suppose you didn't know both of them. Suppose I'm telling you the speed is 2.5 meter per second and the distance is 5 meters. What is the time? How much time do we take, or how much time it is taken to cover 5 meters when your car is traveling in 2.5 meter per second? Now, since you do not know the time, I put it as a variable x, and so now you know how to find. I will cross multiply it, and it will be 2.5x is equal to 5. Right, I get an equation here. Now let it be there. Let me give you another example or another question. 3.5 meter per second, this is my new speed. Okay, now I know what's the time. Time is 3 seconds, but I do not know what is the distance. You get it? I do not know what is the distance. So I put the distance variable as y. I put it as a variable because I do not know that. I do not know the value, so I put it y. Now I want you to notice something. For time I put x, and for distance I put y. And why did I put y? That is because, see, in x, your x coordinates, this line, your x coordinate shows you what the time, right? This 1 2 3 4 5 6 are all seconds, and it shows you time. So that is why when I didn't know what the time was, I put it as a variable x, and these distances are showed in the y coordinates, y axis. So therefore I call the variable y. It is not a compulsory it's not compulsory that you should use the variables x and y itself. You can use some other variables also, but it's for it's better for understanding, and it's easier to know also when you have x and y itself. Okay, let it be there. Now, to how to make the equation with this thing. So it will be cross multiplying 3.5 into 3 is equal to y. Okay, now let me write this equation in a different way. So it will be 2.5x minus 5 is equal to, I just move the 5 to the left. So 2.5x minus 5 is equal to 0. The other one I can write it as y minus 10.5 is equal to 0. Perfect. Now look at these two things. Does this remind you of something? Aren't these our polynomials which we studied last class? I mean in the last chapter. These are all polynomials. But what is the specialty of these polynomials? If you look at these polynomials carefully, you will come to see and observe that it has the degree is 1. The polynomial degree is 1. And what is the specialty of polynomials with degree 1? What do we call it? We call it monomials. So what are the examples of monomials? Few examples are 2x plus y is equal to 2, 5x is equal to 4. These are few examples of monomials. But in this chapter, only for the chapter's sake, in this chapter, we will only be studying linear equations with one variable. Oh, I already said the name of the chapter. Okay, anyways, we'll only be studying equations with one variable. So I will remove this example and I'll put like this, y is equal to. So if you look at this, you will see that 2.5x minus 5 only has one variable, y minus 10.5 only one variable, y is equal to one variable, here also one variable. So we will only be studying equations in one variable. Now our chapter name has something also along with it, and that is called, by mistake I already said that, and it is called linear. Now what does that word mean? Sounds like doesn't sound like English. I mean, does it sound like English? I mean, because it is actually not from English and it is not founded in English. It is actually comes from a Latin word. Latin. So Latin is another language, and so linear is actually comes from a Latin word called linea, and linea means a line. So in Latin language, linea means a line, and it is from this linea that the word linear was formed. Okay, so what does linear means? Basically a line. Now why it is called a line? I mean, sorry, why are we concerned about this? Because look at this. The pink line that you see is a straight line. It is a line, right? It's a line, and that because it is in a line, or it is in a straight line, that is why these things are called, all graphs, all graphs which has straight lines like this are called linear graphs. So if you hear the word linear equations, you should understand that the equations, when you are putting it in a graph, it will have straight line. Whenever linear relationship, that relationship has a straight line thing. So whenever you hear the word linear, you should understand that it is something or somewhere related to something with straight line. You get it? So now you're welcome to the new chapter, linear equations in one variable.